you very much. Welcome. I'm very proud of all of you for braving the cold, and I hope we can spread some warm feelings to all of you. By the way, I don't know, as Milt mentioned, all these drawings were created by a wonderful young artist named Maria Los Angeles, who's now studying at what school? No?
She's at Yale.
She's at Yale. Yes. Okay, a few words about how Milt and I got together. First of all, we both were teachers at Washington Irving High School over 30 years ago. And as you know it, just a couple of years of my teaching there, I was accessed, and then I met him a few years afterwards. And he told me about a group that he had started called the UFT Players, United Federation of Teachers Players, which is still going on now, close to its 19th year. And in this organization, we do a lot of acting, performing, and even writing. So we've written several plays together, but one day Milt had shown me a draft of a novel he was writing and wanted to seek my opinion. Well, I looked at it and then I was pulled right into it all the way until I became co-author. And that was the beginning of Shadows on Bleecker Street. So I'm going to have Milt again just to introduce the concept of the book, and then we'll get right into some scenes for the book as well.
Okay, thank you, Warren. This novel is a first-person narrative, and we're going to learn more about that. But our group, which I'm going to introduce now, met Warren already, and please say hello to Jeffrey Williams, and Lena Toro, and Elizabeth Rose. And we're going to be acting out some of the lighter moments in the novel. We're going to take a glance at some of the things that happen in the novel itself. So here then is Warren again to read from the very first page of the novel, sort of give you a taste of what it is, and then we'll proceed on. Warren?
Okay, thank you. So we're going to begin with chapter 1. The setting is a college classroom. Chapter 1, Thursday morning. In memory, everything seems to happen in music. Tim loved that Tennessee Williams quote. I'll never get it out of my mind because that's how my story begins, with a song. A sweet memory all too soon overshadowed by tragic ones. Even though I was late again for class, I felt assured Tim had everything in control when I heard his voice coming through strong.
Oh, Canaan, sweet Canaan, I thought I heard him say, there were lions in the way, and I don't expect to stay much longer here. Shun the danger, run to freedom.
I made my way over to the lectern and stood next to Tim, who was getting ready to move into his role. Lean and handsome, his caramel-colored face was darkened now in the room's diminished light. But you could see that his eyes blazed with passion. I faced Tim and flicked my hand for him to continue. He leaped off the small raised stage, and as he crouched near the row of seats, I started my narration. Who are these lions? Where are the dangers? We were a team, good enough. I will say modestly, to hold the attention of these savvy students enrolled in our Seeds of Slavery, Fruits of Freedom course. When Tim and I taught the class together at Green Street Graduate Center, the students not only got interested, they got involved. I had encouraged Tim to call his own shots for our last class of the school year, but why he chose Frederick Douglass as a topic puzzled me, since we covered it fairly well 2 weeks before.
Jeff, where were you? Professor Rader is strolling the halls.
Take it easy out here now.
Okay, good, because our man's ready to fly.
Tim played a young 20-year-old Frederick Douglass, escaping from Maryland to New York City back in 1838, probably hiding somewhere in a safe house in Lower Manhattan. Darting over the corner, Tim Douglass rubbed his hands like he was huddled over a fire, warming up his mind with a new thought. Students heard his velvety, baritone voice all the way to the back of the classroom, crying out the words that Douglass recalled when he was a slave on the eastern shore of Maryland, yearning for the deepest place in his soul to be something that today's students took for granted.
Free. When I was a boy and those slave bosses weren't breathing down on me, I used to stake off and watch all those ships sailing out of the harbor. I was praying, oh Lord, I could just sail away, or maybe fly on the wings of a dove and be free.
As the story unfolds, Jeff soon discovers why his colleague Tim had chosen to do Douglass for the last session of the grad class. Well, we find out that Tim has gotten hold of a rare book, Lady of the Lake, written by Sir Walter Scott in the early 1800s. It's a long narrative poem. Now what makes this rare book so special is that inside there's an inscription. With this book, I have a new name and the hope for everlasting freedom. Signed, Frederick Douglass, New Bedford, Massachusetts, 1841. Rare indeed. But Tim, the next day, is murdered, and the book is stolen. Jeff, in order to find clues which will help him solve the murder of his friend and get the return of the book, hopefully, he joins a literary walking tour devoted to the historical, iconic figures who lived or worked in Greenwich Village, most notably on Bleecker Street. Now, indeed, this tour is very, very special, as Warren will now tell you.
Yes. What makes this tour rather special is that it is what you might call today a living history tour, in which, as the tourists move from place to place along Bleecker Street and Verona, you find that you have actors playing the parts of the iconic figures as well as representing people around them. So the people looking at this part of the tour think they are actually there at the moment. And also, just to reemphasize the importance of this tour, besides looking for clues, because Tim himself had written this tour itinerary out. And Jeffrey thinks that maybe he can track down some clues as to who killed Tim and where the book is. So along the way also is this inner journey where he finds all the several problems along the way, often threatening ones, but he learns through these little historical aspects of the tour that these people have something to say, all these iconic figures, and he gets some strength, moral courage by that. So let's start out with one of the tours. This is the setting of Charlie Pfaff's underground Bohemian Cellar Cafe.
Listen and you will hear Walt Whitman's poem about that place.
A vault at fests where the drinkers and leffers meet to eat and drink and carouse, while on the walk immediately overhead pass the myriad feet of Broadway.
Hank Jankowitz, the tour group boss, explained that after the main repast, everyone would see and hear a dance set to a poem Whitman penned right here. He mentioned it was a homoerotic poem and that Whitman was gay.
You mean Walt was gay?
Hank, amid some friendly laughter, said he had thought he'd made that clear.
Good, so am I.
Hank informed the crowd that a dessert would be coming. Some kind of apple turnover they might have enjoyed at Charlie Pfaff's German French-style restaurant way back in the 1850s. Whitman made that point clear now to the audience as he addressed the eminent author, Ralph Emerson.
Ralph, I'm telling you and your other buddies from up Boston way that if you cut out the sex, you cut out the book at the root.
Then Hank got into a little tiff with Emerson over the title of one of his poems, To a Common Prostitute.
It's a fine title, Ralph, and properly fits the poem. Let's move on.
And so do we. You may not know that Frederick Douglass' birthday is recorded as February 18th, just a couple of days. So along with President's Day today and Black History Month and Chinese New Year coming, that's another very auspicious day. Now, you may also know that Frederick Douglass was very involved in the women's suffrage movement. With women's rights and voting and all that. So,
Yes. Okay, for our last dramatization, we're going to take you to Margaret Sanger Square near Bleecker Street. The year is 1914, and we're going to look in on a rally.
Thank you for coming, ladies. For centuries, women have been the helpless victims of excessive childbearing. Meekly, we have submitted to undesired motherhood, a disease which brings poverty, unemployment, child labor, prostitution, and war. Prevent. Prevent. That's our intent. You can, my friends, of course, protect your work and plan each birth. The future will be yours. Yes, Mr. Luca. Come on.
That's a nice, real nice. But you try to tell her that to my husband. My Giuseppe, he's an honor caster. He say, government, go away. But what he give me here in the belly, that's a here to stay. We got apartment, it's just a 2 rooms, but mamma mia, big family. Me and Giuseppe and 7 bambini. No got a room to pee. Excuse me, excuse me.
Oh.
Margaret.
Mrs. Felstein, would you like to say something?
Do I like to say
Come on,
something?
come
Do
on.
I have something here? Oy vey, let me tell you. A shmoo, oy shmoo. Such a stubborn husband for a mule I have got. He's got a keppel on his head, garnished on the other spot. He schleps me into bed. He pounds me every night. I'll call the cops, I'll plots all up, watch out. I'll even take a bite. Shoo, oi shmoo, do for me a favor, just put away that tool.
Oh. Yes. Well, I'm gonna take care of it. Mrs. Torres. Mrs. Torres, come.
3 months ago. Well, you know, my husband quick, but I too slow. I try to stop, but he just go. Too tired and sleepy to say no. So now I got 8, maybe 10. Margarita, you got to help me to my friend.
Ladies, ladies, once these leaflets are in the mailbox, every woman in Manhattan will know what we stand for.
Margaret Sanger!
Stop, don't do that, Mrs. Sanger. I warn you.
Warn me? You warn me, and who are you, sir?
My card. Anthony Comstock, Director of the New York Society for the Suppression of Vice. And Mr. Elmer Clinkley, United States Department of Justice.
Mrs. Sanger, I'm here to advise you that this literature of yours is illegal and under Polsky.
I know all about that. And this is my reply!
Clinkley, do your job.
I hereby have you under arrest, and furthermore, you will not do this again. I know.
Come on, get out of here, you monster! Get away!
No, no, ladies. No, no, that's not what I meant by prevent. Prevent. Prevent.